11. First order of business is to consider the minutes from 10:06. Is there any changes or additions?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next order is the public hearing and consideration of a conditional use permit for construction of a detached garage in the RT Residential Transition District to a height of 22 feet at 221 Vine Street. Danny? Talk about, or we'll just ask for comments?
Ask for public comment.
Okay. Is there anyone here that would like to address that issue? David, why don't you come up to the microphone, give us your name and address, please?
I'm David Estreen. I live at 727 3rd Street. We're two doors down from the subject property, which is 221 Vine. My wife and I own this property. We are objecting to this conditional use permit based upon the exacerbation of the parking problem along 3rd Street. We feel that by adding this construction, it would be in violation of city ordinances. When the Frises bought this property and sought a conditional use permit in June of 2000, Soranda, the company that is operating out of the building, had 4 employees, and they stipulated that they had between 5 and 6 parking spots in back of the house at that time. And the conditional use permit was issued, and they subsequently bought the building. Subsequently, the business has grown, and they added an additional 700 square feet to the property. I don't know how many employees they have in the property now, but I would guess it's in excess of 4, as they had initially. Typically, there are 8 cars parked in the back parking area that they've provided, and the rest of their employees park along 3rd Street from their building to my home. I would point out that pursuant to Hudson Ordinance 255-48, it is required that at any time that there's erection or enlargement of any main building or structure, adequate off-street parking be provided. Specifically, in this instance, 255-48 H4B requires that there be 1 parking spot for every 200 square feet of usable space. The Frises have 3,432 square feet without counting the basement. I don't know whether they use the basement or not, but in any case, this would require, pursuant to the statute, 17 parking spaces, which I am guessing would probably provide parking for all their employees. Further, under 255-48D, off-street spaces shall not be reduced unless the resulting number is in excess of the required number for such case. In this case, the footprint of the garage that is to be built is substantially larger than the garage that is currently on the property. So this would, in fact, further diminish the number of parking spots that are available in the back. Therefore, there would be more of their employees parking on the street. Based upon the violation of these 2 ordinances, we are requesting that the conditional use permit be denied.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak?
I guess I will. My name is Dennis Kroll. I'm an architect. I live here in Hudson, and Soranda has been a good client for a long time. They actually have had a couple extra cars on the streets this whole summer because they've had contractors there making improvements to their property, and that might have been a little bit annoying. The garage that's there right now is it's kind of a trashy thing that wants to be torn down. It'll no longer be used, and that would be parking. The new garage would have 3 cars in it, plus the lawn equipment. the plan is to do, I mean, for that to not be just, that would accommodate parking on that space, and the old garage would be parking. We see it as a vast improvement to the property. There's no net parking brought by the garage. The upstairs is accessory space and used only as that. So I'm not aware that there was any requirement for additional parking for a garage when you're going to tear down the existing garage.
Okay. Anything else?
One of the things that we were trying to do, and the only reason this is before the Planning Commission right now, is that we're trying to fit in with the character of the neighborhood, so I'm using we're using traditional proportions and lines, and it brings the garage up past the 20-foot limit, and that was something that in looking at alternatives was preferable by quite a bit. Made it fit the character of many of the historic properties in the neighborhood. It's an improvement, and the old garage would be taken, displaced by it. It's basically to replace the old garage. Any of the storage that was in the old garage is going down to the basement now, and the new garage is basically for 3 cars. The property right now is a duplex, and it's on 2 lots. If that property ever sold in the future, the idea would be that it would almost need 3 parking spaces to be within the standard of current real estate standards. If they split into 2 at some point in time, and this is just planning ideas, it's plenty big for that. It is a house, and that is one of the considerations. We talked about them actually living there at some point in half of that and renting out the other half, and then using one of the stalls or 2. I think it's one side of the garage anyhow. So I don't know. Do you have any other questions?
Well, we're just having a hearing right now.
Okay.
We'll have to close the hearing before we ask questions.
Well, then
That's all right.
Okay.
Then I move to close.
Well, unless there's anybody else that wants to speak. Unless you're not finished yet.
No, that's pretty much what I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak to this issue? Okay,
I
now,
move to close the public hearing.
okay,
Second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
I have some questions, if I may ask.
Shoot.
Number 1, what is the purpose of the upper level of this garage? Is it for somebody to live up there? Is it storage? What is the intent? It looks very, very nice. It looks like there's patio doors off of it. It looks like it would increase the capacity of that lot. I mean, if I had to look at this thing and say, hey, it's just not a normal garage, is it a mother-in-law apartment? What is it?
It is an accessory space. It's kind of a getting away space, a space for exercise and meditation, or getting away, basically, from work.
Would it add to the capacity of the employment of that property? In other words, if
No.
there's 4 people working there now, could they put 5, 6, or 7 based on the available space of the upper level of this garage?
No, it's not intended to be for that purpose, and I would suppose that a conditional use permit would not allow that. We're not applying for a conditional use permit to use it that way. It's basically an accessory use.
I understand that, but I mean, in all practicality, it's it's 400 square feet, you know, if not more.
From a building code standpoint, they'd be able to use it for storage or this accessory use that Dennis is trying to explain. They may use it for an exercise.
Okay.
If they cannot use it as an accessory dwelling, that's a whole different process through the city of Hudson, which requires a conditional use permit, also requires building code compliance. Office use would be prohibited. It's not good being built to the commercial code. So that would be restricted, the restricted use of that property. If this would be recommended for approval, you know, if they use it for ancillary use of a exercise room or something, and we would ask them to install carbon monoxide and fire extinguisher type of things, but we're not at that point, so.
One other question, do you plan, well, maybe, if I don't think of more, do you plan on heating that facility and or the upper level, please?
Yes, minimally. The plan is to put tubing in the ground floor and to use for a future possible solar kind of heat to be water heat for that, but to keep it above the freezing line anyhow, and then to use a heat pump that they have in the already to basically to heat the upper to minimal when they're using it.
One last technical question. I'm looking at your print. You applied for a 22-foot height building. It says it's 23
It's 2211, I think.
and a half.
That's my mistake. For
Okay.
some reason, when I reviewed the plans, I read them as 22.
Okay.
That's when I prepared the public hearing notice, so I'll take blame for that. consideration.
I just wanted,
Can I ask,
I have a
Sure.
question. Oh,
everybody has questions, who wants to go?
I'm done.
Go ahead, Mary.
Can I, okay, I may have follow-up questions, so bear with me on this. So if the garage is gonna be torn down, how many parking spots would you assume that's gonna allow then, there?
That's two, and
It fits 2 enclosed, but if it comes down, can it fit 3 spots there if it's not, on the leveled land, or is it gonna be probably just 2?
well, actually three when you take when there's a hump
Right,
along the sidewalk, and when you cut that out, you have another.
so it might create 3 spots.
Right.
And then the garage going up, you're losing how many spots back there? The garage is being erected,
Three,
so you're swapping out 3 spots for 3 spots.
right, and then we have 3 spots in the garage,
Right.
which
and
is expected to be used.
Are those gonna be used by employees, or,
I would suppose, somebody's gonna, I mean, why would it not be?
that's what I'm asking.
No, yeah.
I don't
who's gonna
assume
be-
anything, I guess, that's in this situation, so. And
No,
then,
it would be, I would be very happy to be an employee and to have the use of that
Right.
garage, or a garage, period.
so how many spots total are, assuming that how many spots total are there right now back there? I guess did I miss that somewhere on the paperwork? So, did I miss that when I was?
There's probably about 5 spaces altogether.
So there's 5 spaces total, and then you're still just swapping out 3 for 3, basically. Well, you're adding a spot. If
Correct.
that becomes a 3 stall,
Right,
you'd be
because
adding
we're-
a spot.
The plan is to level that out and
Right.
to park there, yes.
So you're,
Most likely, they get 9 spots. You have 3 in the garage, 3 in front of the
Right.
garage, and 3 south of the garage.
yeah, you're adding 2 spots, actually, because it would go from a 2-stall garage to a 3-stall garage, and then we have 3 spaces that would be from leveling that other garage. Okay, so, and there's nobody living there now, it's just strictly business? Okay. So the total amount of spots can be 9, is what we can assume, when it's all said and done, back there, off-street.
Yes.
And there's how many employees again?
I'm not sure. I think there's more than 4. There's I think there's somewhere between 12 or, I'm not sure. It's
12 plus?
Yeah.
Should we say?
It
And 9
was
spots.
12.
Okay. And 9 spots to be created. And right now, there's 5 spots. Am I understanding all this right? I'm just trying to,
No, I
do you know where I'm
understand it as
going?
there's 5 and there's +3 -3, so there's no net gain, so there's still 5 in the back.
No, there's 2 net gain. If you go from a 2-stall garage and you knock it down, and you can create 3 spots out of that knockdown garage, you've gained 1, right?
Yeah, but the knockdown garage had 3 spots.
No, 2.
2. So
Well,
you're
he
gaining,
just said 3.
Well, when we level out that,
when you knock
the
it down.
north side of that garage where the sidewalk is, then there'll be an extra spot there.
So,
Let me suggest something here. Mr. Estreen has raised some very legitimate issues. I would like the opportunity to take a look at those issues, to see the legitimacy of them. I'm not saying A or nay that they're legitimate or not, but he's raised some good questions. Good. I'd like consideration of postponing action on this till I have an opportunity to review those issues and come back with a review.
yes.
Make that a motion to
Yeah. Go for it.
postpone until you've had a chance to review it. I mean, I think we just need more information.
Yeah, that's what I guess I'm
Besides
trying to
the
gather.
parking though, we're going over 3 feet, right? Almost 4 feet higher than our 3 points.
Almost 3.
Yeah, 3 feet.
Why does it need to be so big?
Pardon?
Sorry, I mean, what's the size, maybe I missed it in the paperwork.
Several years ago, we looked at the maximum height for a detached garage was 16 feet. We
Yes.
had a lot of concerns expressed by people about building garages limited to 16 feet height.
Mhm.
We went to 20 feet
Yes,
with the opportunity to go to 20 feet or higher with a conditional use permit.
Right.
yes.
Now, the goal is if we're gonna consider that, then that the design of the garages complement the architecture
Yes.
or the neighborhood
Agreed.
feel. So remember, that's part of the goal here,
Oh, I agree.
of
Yes.
considering that conditional use permit.
Can I ask one other question, and I apologize if I missed it in the paperwork, but what's the size of the current garage and what's the size of the proposed garage? Did I miss that?
It's not in the,
It's 400 feet to propose.
I mean, I get
garage.
that it's 2-car and 3-car, but what's the actual size
800 and about 80 square feet,
for the new one?
correct?
And what's the current size one?
Well, most 2-car garages are typically about 500 square feet.
May I ask, or Rick, are you done?
Not, but,
Just- oh,
and
you're
then
finished.
the purpose of moving it back, well, you know what, I made a motion to
Yeah.
postpone, so sorry.
and is there a second to that?
I did second.
Okay. Any more discussion on that, to postpone? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Sorry, Fred, I didn't mean to
No,
cut
no,
you
no,
off.
it doesn't matter, it's fine. I can ask it again.
Item 4, certified survey map, 1 residential lot, 1.08 acres, and 1 outlot, 5.24 acres, Bill Cornwall, 327 7th Street, South.
The former Dr. Milton Cornwall property on the south edge of 7th Street on the west side. The current property is approximately 6.32 acres in area. What Mr. Bill Cornwall is proposing is to create 2 lots, lot 1 for the residential structure that exists on that parcel, and a second lot, which is an outlot, which will be the balance of the property. In the future, there could be a possible subdivision of this additional outlot into 3 additional lots, 1 south of the house abutting 7th Street, 1 on the north side of the house abutting 7th Street, and the balance of the property, which basically is the bluff, and then the area along Cooley Road would be the 3rd lot. On the western side of that potential third lot along Cooley Road. The land is pretty level and is potentially developable. Also being designated as trunk sanitary sewer and water easements for existing sewer and water lines crossing the south edge of this property. Pretty straightforward certified survey map. As expected, the current lot is served by sanitary sewer and water. There is an existing sanitary and sewer water service south of the house. It's currently unused, and depending on the condition of it, could potentially be used in the future. So if the property was subdivided in the future, there's a possibility of needing 2 additional sanitary sewer service or water services, one on the north side and on Cooley Road. Really see no issues with this. It's just really subdividing off the existing house so it could be marketed for sale.
I do have one question. Would there be any issues as far as to, if it was to be subdivided, would there be any access issues as far as streets and/or how would you get to these so-called 3 created lots if that were to happen? I mean, I don't see the streets.
2 lots on 7th Street would be accessible through 7th Street
Okay.
or onto 7th Street.
And the third lot?
The third lot would be Cooley Road.
Okay,
Recommend approval.
is there any other
So
questions? Move to approve, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5, final development plans, comforts of home, senior living, 40-unit community-based residential facility, southwest quadrant of Hagan Street and Crestview Drive, Gold Ridge Group LLP.
On your table is a review letter from Dennis Potts, our city engineer. The only issue that the city's recommending approval or change of the proposed plans was the water line, to change it from a copper water line to a different material, the DIP material. So, and they've already agreed and changed the plans according to that. Again, this is Hagan Street, Crestview Drive is up here, post office is across the street. This is a 40-unit community-based residential facility, very similar to the 42-unit community-based residential facility immediately to the south. This area is the parcel the city of Hudson has approved for sale. To go along with this parcel, access would be directly across from the parking lot on the south side of the post office and directly across from the south customer driveway to the post office. This could switch slightly to accommodate the existing pole and also here. But city staff is recommending approval with the conditions or recommendations of the city engineer for his letter of what he was stated yesterday. And Jamie Foley's here, project architect, to answer any questions. There was a color rendering that's on the tables tonight for your review. The architecture colors are complementary to the existing Empress Home facility. Landscape plans are in conformance. Again, complement the existing facility.
Is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Here, right.
Okay, any questions on this? I think we've had a good look at this. It's the second time.
Yeah.
Is parking shared between the 2 buildings?
Yes.
I wasn't here.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was one of our concerns.
No, that's why I had to ask the
Yeah.
question, because this being a narrower strip and then being closer to the intersection raises those questions, and that's why I guess I didn't hear that, so I had.
It provides 3 additional off-street parking places from the concept plan to you also.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there anything else that you'd like to have, any other business for informational purposes?
Next
Could I
week?
ask a couple questions?
No, certainly.
Sure.
Go ahead.
And maybe they're more pertaining to the comments from the city engineer, but in his review letter on item number 15 and 16, 15 speaking to the job site construction observation provided by the city of Hudson or the consulting engineer, How, for planning purposes, how do we know who that would be and if there would be additional costs associated with a consulting engineer providing those services?
If you want me to, I will contact both and we will try to give you the best estimate that we can in regards. Also, we'll stipulate who we believe will be the engineers on site, but we can get that information for you.
Very good. And is that typically just for utility-related work?
Typically, yes. Now, because you're basically a one-building site, there's not a lot of complicated review. The water services will be reviewed by the water utility. Typically, in your type of project, the building inspector would be doing some of that also as part of the building permit process. If there's things that we feel the city engineer needs to be brought in to the review, then that would be the time. But we can give you an estimate, and the reason we don't like to do hard and fast numbers is because sometimes contractors change. Sometimes they call you back 2 or 3 different times on what should have been one inspection. They call you back 2 or 3 times on inspections. So we can't always anticipate the number of inspections, but yes, we'll give you an estimate to the best of our ability of what that may be.
Very good, appreciate that. And then moving onward to item number 16, where it speaks of the letter of credit for the curb and gutter and basically for the street patching work. It's indicating an amount here of $32,500 for that. Just curious how that estimate is determined, and I guess, to be quite frankly, I feel the number is extremely high. I'm not a contractor, I don't do
It's your
estimating.
opinion
but-
against our city engineer's opinion. We'll take the city engineer's opinion from the city perspective.
Okay,
We need to protect our public interest
fully
and
understand.
the improvements, street and utility improvements that are in place, including the pathways, including curb and gutters, including the boulevard restorations, including the street restorations, which is extremely important on this project. So I don't think there'll be a change in that amount.
Okay, very good.
Is it 1.5 times, Denny, or is it
1.25.
1.25 times?
Okay, so it's
So
the
the estimate is
estimate.
1.25.
Okay,
I mean, the number you're seeing is 1.25 of the estimate.
okay. That
The
explains
reason
it a
it's
little better.
1.25 is give us some cushion in case there's unexpected considerations.
Okay, very good, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Yes.
I want Denny to ask back onto this garage issue, if you'd be so kind. The neighbor to the north, a building of increased height would, in that position, I drove through that alley today, I looked at that, and if there was a bigger garage there, the neighbor to the north, which is that yellow house the forest stream,
Right.
this
I
guy
believe
will never see sun.
I believe they own both properties.
They do.
But, that's something I looked at, and if we
Well,
got in,
if you
if
see
we
where I'm
got
going
into
here.
further discussion, something we may want to look at is asking if they'd consider moving that a little bit further to the south, providing a little more space.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.